Well, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. Before we get started on what we're going to talk about today, I just want to start uh, with, I started to say a thank you, but I want it's even more than that. It's a thank you with amazement um, at the support that we're seeing from so many of you. You know, every time, and what I've said before, for those people who want to support our channel, one way to do it is to go over to Patreon and join as a patron. And we've had a lot of people do that. And I appreciate all that. Every time somebody joins as a patron, I get an email and it shows who joined, and it shows what they pledged and all that. And it's just $1. And it kind of lets you be a part of the fight with us here. And so every one of those, we are so appreciative of. It makes us know that not only are people watching and commenting sometimes, but people are really, kind of getting in the boat with us and helping us row. It shows their support, and every time someone does that, it enables us to do a little bit more to build what we're building. As I check, I noticed it the other day, but I was checking this morning, and I was looking through the emails that Patreon sends me and says so-and-so joined as a patron, pledged $1. Well, most of them, it didn't seem like today were $1. They were more than $1. And I would say that $5 there were probably more $5 pledges than $1. And I just want to thank you all. I never asked, and nobody has to pledge more than $1. I don't have any more special things to put out there for people who pledge more. I know that these people are doing it because they want to contribute. They want to support what we're doing. And it amazed me. And I wanted to let you all know how appreciative we are of that. And there are so many out there pledging $5, and I think some even more. It's nothing that I asked for, but we do appreciate it, and I want you to know that. I just want you to know that. I never anticipated anything like that. So thank you so much. Anybody who hasn't come over to Patreon to be part of us over there, and I just put up something over there. I put up a lot more over on Patreon that kind of feeds into what we do here, and the events of the day and what's going on and things that you may or may not see other places. I kind of try, I'll cover some of the stuff that you see other places, the main things of the day, and then I also find things that you may not have seen if you just read and watch the normal cycles out there. But I just put one up this morning on of a Canadian trucker speaking out. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on up in Canada and how that affects us here and what we might expect down here next to happen. And kudos to you Canadians up there. You're doing a heck of a job up there. Anyway, so that's what we do over on Patreon. I always put the link down here. You get everything that's on YouTube, plus a lot of other stuff over there. And we'd love you to join us, not just because your dollar would help or your whatever, do what you want. Not just because that helps us, build our channel. Speaking of which, please give the thumbs up and share this with your friends. But because it kind of makes you a part of everything with us, and we enjoy it. So anyway, if you want to do that, the link is down there to the Patreon page. And also, since YouTube is putting ads on here, even though I haven't monetized this channel, but as soon as we reach that magic number of hours watched, I will, because they're putting ads on here anyway. And if they're making money off this channel, we're going to get a little bit of it, right? Because we should. But in addition to that, I've started saying that, and this video is brought to you, is sponsored by The Reversion, the book that I wrote, the first book that I wrote by me, Stephen C. Smith. The Reversion is the first in the Stonemont series of 5 books now. The 5th one just came out 2 days ago. They go in order, should I name them, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, and the fifth one, which I don't have a paperback copy of yet. I'm waiting for delivery today. Some people have already bought it because it is now available, the fifth book, on Amazon. And I'm waiting for the delivery of my first book, or I'd hold it up for you to see. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. And what the Reversion is about is, it's about, well, the whole series is about when America collapses, the whole world collapses, and people start to rebuild, and we rebuild it according to the way we think it should go. Reversion it's what I named this channel after. It means taking things back to the way that they should be. So, okay, so much for the hellos and how are yous and commercials and things like that. So we have, like I put up over there, a Canadian trucker spoke out, and it was a something to watch. I think those guys up there are doing great. We'll get back to that. I see that Remington just settled with the Sandy Hook families for $73 million. Because who knows? Because that's the America that we live in right now, right? And so when I'm done with this, I will be going down to meet my lawyer to sue Estwing for all the times that I hit that thumb with one of their hammers. Okay, well, Trudeau, boy, he's up to his little tricks up there in Canada, right? We're going to start with what they're doing, then we're going to bring it around to what we're doing here. He says, so Trudeau, he targets the crowdfunding platforms and cryptocurrencies under the terrorist financing rules. Well, those truckers up there have shown some resilience. You guys are doing the Lord's work, and that's for sure. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. It says, this is from Breitbart. Far-left Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is targeting crowdfunding platforms and cryptocurrency transactions under Canada's terrorist financing rules after the Freedom Convoy raised millions of dollars in support of its cause. Well, we know what happened there. Let's see. There's a couple of things here because there's another. It says, okay, Canada's Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland said, we are announcing the following immediate actions. First, we are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use. These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets such as cryptocurrencies. I don't know much about cryptocurrencies. I'm not invested in any, and I'm not invested because I don't understand them yet. Okay, it gets me just a little bit worried when somebody can just, click, hit a key on a laptop, and maybe everything that I've got is gone. Or if a government decides we don't want you to have that, and I know that the Fed is talking about putting together their own crypto. We'll see how that works, and we kind of know what their end game probably is on that, right? But that's a discussion for another day. So Trudeau invoked Canada's Emergencies Act on Monday to target these transactions. This act, quote, allows the federal government to override the provinces and authorize special temporary measures to ensure security during national emergencies, according to Reuters. His announcement is the latest attack on crowdfunding efforts for the Freedom Convoy. U.S.-based GoFundMe suspended the Freedom Convoy fundraising page after supporters raised nearly $11 million. Give, Send, Go became an alternate crowdfunding source. Give, Send, Go is a Christian crowdfunding organization. So they became the alternative source for the Freedom Convoy. And they've raised more than $8 million for the truckers. So that's almost $20 million that's been raised for the truckers up there, right? Excuse me. To keep them going. And they're not making any money, and their families need to be supported, and they need fuel, and they need all sorts of things. Well, on Friday, Give, Send, Go defied a Canadian government order to freeze the Freedom Convoy funds. However, under Canada's new orders, and we're talking about this so that we here in the United States can be supportive of what's going on in Canada, our brothers and sisters to the north, and also to prepare ourselves for what very possibly could be coming our way. It's important to understand they're giving us a a hint. They're showing us their playbook of what will be coming our way in a little bit, perhaps. So under Canada's new orders, Give, Send, Go will now be required to report so-called suspicious transactions to the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center of Canada. Who thinks of FinTrack, the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center of Canada. The Canadian truckers have been protesting Trudeau's. We know why they're protesting. Let's go. I think I'm going to move to the next. Yeah, I'm going to move to the next article here because their deputy prime minister says she goes farther. She says, if your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen and the insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. Interesting. You know, it's not until something like this comes up that we really get a glimpse into not only what the government can do, but what it will do. And how about that? She says, the insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. Send your semi-trailers home. So what do you do when you've got, how much do those trucks cost now, man? I have a brother-in-law who was an over-the-road driver for 20 years. I have 20 or more. Kelly's father was an over-the-road driver he was an owner-operator for 30 years. One of our nephews is an over-the-road driver. Those things cost a lot of money. You know, sitting there and not hauling anything is not making them the money they need to make their truck payments, to support their families, and to make their insurance payments. So if you have a truck sitting there with no insurance, you have the possibility, if you still owe money on that truck, I would think that somebody could come up and to take that back. So that's what they're in. Let's see here. And then it turns out, and you know, in a world where there really are no coincidences, it turns out that Give, Send, Go has been hacked. It says after raising over $9 million for the Freedom Convoy movement and having their funds blocked and even seized by private banks, Christian crowdsourcing platform Give, Send, Go has been hacked and taken offline. Okay. I'm going to go check on something here. I'm going to put you on hold for just a second. It only seemed like a second to you, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm back with a smile. I looked out the window when I was talking, and the, what's that company that I get my stuff? Amazon truck pulled up. Guy walked up to the door and dropped something on the door, and so I want to show you. You all are going to be the very first ones to see this live. He just delivered my copy of The Blessings of Freedom. And that's what we're talking about now, isn't it? The blessings of freedom. You know, Thomas Paine said that those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, and I insert women, undergo the fatigues of supporting them. That's Thomas Paine. That's what the people up there in Canada are doing right now. Guys, I'll show this for you all. You are undergoing the fatigues of supporting the blessings of freedom. So this is the new book, guys. You all are the very first ones to see it. There's the spine. There's the back. And these are now available on Amazon. We are in the process of seeing whether, well, I won't even talk anything about that quite yet, okay? But I've already announced that sometime in the future, all 5 books are going to be put together in kind of a large volume of their own. But this one now, and I don't know, that's going to cost a lot more. It's kind of going to be a collector's item probably. But they're now available. I'll put the link down here where you can get the books. But read them in order. If you haven't read the first ones, this won't make any sense to you. If you have read the first ones, this will complete what you've been asking, all the questions. So I'm happy. I'm tickled pink to have that, and happy that you all were able to be here and share that moment with me. So back to this. These folks up in Canada are standing up. They are showing what standing up is. What happens next? Now we hear that we may have one starting here, and I've heard that is starting, but since I don't know it to be a fact, and since it hasn't started, I'm not going to say that it is. I'll say that we have heard that it's going to. One of these convoys is going to start up in the United States March 1st. Is it March 1st? Yes, it's March 1st. And things I've heard, it might start out in California and go to D.C. I've heard a couple of other things. Let me know. Put down here what you've heard and what you think about it. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? What's the effect going to be? But Canada has certainly set the example. Now, what's going to happen here? They've already gotten, from my understanding, several of the provinces up there have done away with their mandates. I'd call that a win. Okay, they have revealed what Trudeau and his government is. I'd call that another win. They are apparently not giving up. They've as good Canadians, they've moved their trucks a lot. But you know what? It's not just blocking a bridge. If they don't drive those trucks, you're still not getting anything. Okay, we still aren't getting anything. And truckers, it's fine. I am fully supportive of you. This is why preparedness is so important for those of you who aren't into preparedness and you'd like to be in. You say, well, how can I withstand this? My other channel, my main channel over on integrative preparedness, tell you all about it. Okay. So those of us who are prepared, we are able through our preparedness to withstand this and thereby support the truckers and thereby support the freedom that they are standing up for. And this freedom is the freedom for all of us. Okay. And when I talk about the blessings of freedom, those are the things we're standing up for. And you could say fighting for. And some people say, this isn't a fight. It's not a fight until you go out there with your musket and go at it. No, this is how you do fight. This is an important part. This is how you influence the world around you in a way that you're not having to take lives. And that's most of us would prefer that. Okay. So what happens now? Those truckers have shut things down. But if they're not happy with what happens, they don't have to haul. And if there are people who are willing to support them, that allows other people to be a part of that fight. Does that make sense? That even though they're giving up the money, if people are supporting them through GoFundMe or GiveSendGo or whatever means, those people are also now they're in support positions, right? They're supporting that, and they are a part of the fight, just like the people who join on Patreon for us. Those who are patrons here help us in this. They are active participants in the fight to get America back the way we want it to be. Right? The way it was supposed to be, an American reversion. So what happens here in the United States? We're going to see. I hope that we see, now even the whole house of cards is starting to collapse. Now, we've seen that. They're backing off these mandates right and left, and just this morning we got a text from our school district, or maybe it was last night, I don't remember. A text from our school district that they had a school board meeting and they have rescinded the mask mandate. Okay, the mandates are falling all over the place. And you know what that was? That was a response to pressure, political pressure, meaning people saying we're not going to do it anymore. We're not going to do it anymore. And replacing people on the school boards. Now, I know that most people here understand, on this channel, most people here understand the importance and the effectiveness of political pressure. And that's the way that we want to turn things around, because that is much preferable to the way our founders had to do it. Okay. I mean, if it comes to that, it comes to that. But it's far more preferable to do it simply through political pressure. And like we've talked about before, the other side has been very good at it. Our side has been not so good at it. We simply have to get better. And the more that we work at this, the more that we contribute to each other, the more that we support each other, the more we're going to do. I think I'm going to look forward to see what happens here in the United States. For all you truckers out there, I support you. This channel supports you. There is a lot, even though their little house of cards is starting to crumble. Now, there's a lot of this that I can't get into, and you know what I'm talking about. But there are people who need to be held to account for what they've done over the last 2 years in this country. And that they do. They need to be brought to trial, and there's people need to be in prison. And I think they almost won, but hopefully they haven't. Whether they have won or not depends on what we do next. Okay, so truckers, do what you know you should do. Everybody else prepare. Support them in any way you can. Get ready. Prepare yourselves to be able to, not have to go to the store. If the trucks aren't rolling, the things aren't getting down on the shelves, you don't want to have to be, scrounging and begging and going to the government. You want to just go into your pantry and get tonight's meal because you have been prepared. Again, I put one of my old food preparation videos over on the Patreon site. It's one that I did at Integrative Preparedness, but it'll explain to you all about how to develop your emergency food preps if you don't know how. So go over there. I put it up a few days ago, maybe last week. Okay. Anyway, that's the news of the day. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Again, thank you all. I'm glad you were here to be able to see the blessings of freedom. You guys are the first ones to see it. And thank you again for all of you who have supported us and joined as patrons. For those of you who haven't and would like to, like I say, it's down there. But share this with your friends. Get more people watching this. Get more people involved. Get more people understanding what's going on in our country. And let me know. Give your, contribute. It's not just monetary contributions that we so much appreciate, but also your contributions down here in the comments. Because y'all are smart people. And the more that you comment and the more that you discuss, the more it helps everybody to know that there's others out there like them. And that's what we need. We need to realize and be supported by all of the other people that want the same things we do, which is an American reversion. That's like we say, America needs a reversion, and it needs you to be a part of it. So thank you all, and I'm going to get back, take a look at this book. You all have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.